Hey guys, Ron Gelok here with Christ-Centered Coaching, and I'm super excited today to have a new friend and special guest. My buddy Pedro is the founder of the 100X Academy. This guy's just on fire right now. He's made a big splash in the Christian entrepreneur community, helping people build funnels, get their marketing going, growing their faith. He's got a lot of cool stuff going on, so I wanted to bring him on, share what he's up to with you guys, and I know you're going to get a ton of value today. So, Pedro, thanks for coming on the show today.
No, man, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. So, Pedro, for those of us that don't know who you are and are not familiar with the 100X Academy, can you tell us more about that? What are you up to?
Yeah. So what? First of all, it's if you haven't heard of us, don't feel bad. We're relatively new. We're all a little surprised by this, including myself. This was not a project I dreamt of, started or conceived. It was obviously something that kind of happened to us in June of 2018. This was obviously on the heart of God, and he tricked me into launching this thing. So we've been around for a little under a year, and what 100X really is, it's basically three rivers that have converged, and one of those rivers is definitely the entrepreneurship, right? I love entrepreneurship. I'm a huge learner and student of digital marketing, of traditional marketing, sales, copywriting, funnels. I've been learning from Russell Brunson, Gary Vaynerchuk, just all the big guys, right? Jay Abraham, Dan Kennedy. I'm actually in my library, right? So I've been learning this stuff for about the last 10 years. I've been learning and studying and learning and studying. And at the same time, I've been studying all about digital and online marketing. I'm going deep in understanding the kingdom, how the kingdom works. So like Dr. Miles Monroe is the greatest teacher on the kingdom I've ever found, right? So I'm feasting hours and hours a day. I probably have over thousands of hours of video time logged watching Dr. Miles Monroe videos, reading his books, right? So I've got this history of deep passion and knowledge studying marketing and entrepreneurship, deep passion and knowledge in the kingdom. And then I happen to be in a very prophetic stream of our faith, of Christianity. I'm kind of in that Bethel stream. So I live in Vacaville, Northern California. We're 2 hours from Redding. The Bethel movement has had a huge impact on our church.
Yeah.
Bill Johnson, forwarded my first book, which is amazing. Chris Valentin spoke about our first conference. And so we've been highly influenced by that Bethel prophetic stream. And so here I have this deep value for the prophetic, and I've been learning about prophetic culture and community. And so 100X is these three rivers that have come together. It's a kingdom revelation. It's with an entrepreneurial spirit operating at a prophetic grace. That's what 100X is. And man, it's just been amazing to watch what God is doing. And the cool thing about it is I can never take credit for this because this wasn't even my idea.
Yeah, what do you mean by that, Pedro? How did you fall into this? I know you have the Two Comma Club Award and
So I won my Two Comma Club Award marketing my other business, my real business, I call it, my day job, right? Which is I'm a financial planner. I help people in retirement plan their retirement. And so that's another story. I'll tell it in a second. But
okay.
So with 100X, you'll never see a journal. You'll never see my notebook. You'll never see anywhere on a goal sheet or vision board or dream board anything about 100X. This was never on my radar. I would ever be doing anything like this. What happened is I got asked to be on a podcast like this. So I think in May, I meet this guy in Vacaville from Texas. We start talking, and we both love Dr. Miles Monroe. He's like, hey, come on my podcast and talk about the kingdom and talk about business. I was like, okay. First time ever being asked to be interviewed on a podcast, right? This one interview. So I come on this podcast. This guy starts talking to me about asking me about the kingdom and entrepreneurship. And man, I just came alive, Ron. came alive and revelation starts to flow and I'm saying things I've never even heard myself say before. Like there's just Holy Spirit is filling my mouth. Okay.
Wow.
Like there's stuff just came alive. Like it just unpacked to the point where when the interview was over, the guy goes, dude, that was incredible. I'm like, right. I'm like, it was. I was as shocked as he was.
Uh-huh.
I was saying stuff I never even said before. It was fresh revelation, but it was bubbling up because 10 years. I had 10 years of this deep well that I never let anyone drink out of. Okay.
Wow.
So all of a sudden now, boom, we popped this well and boom, right? So I was like, wow, like God, what just happened? And then the next week, we had a prophetic conference at our church, and a well-known prophet in our movement, a guy named Sean Bowles, amazing guy. He was in town, and so I got a chance to talk to him for a few minutes, and I was like, Sean, like our people are this prophetic stream of people who I love and who hear God so well, have these deep spiritual encounters with God, hear God so well. Why are we the most broke stream in all of Christianity? It's an indictment. It's like we hear God the best, but we're the most broke and struggling and in lack. That makes no sense. And it actually is a bad reflection of our God. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, why is that? I said, because no one's training our people how to actually make money and prosper. We're teaching them about worship, about the prophetic, about all these other things. Yeah. But we're not equipping them for how to actually do the stuff in the real life and real business. And he goes, well, then teach them, train them. And I was like, okay. So I do a 30-day free Facebook class just to pay it forward, to be a blessing. Yeah, I've been blessed. Let me be a blessing. I taught everything I knew. Like I just gave them the kitchen sink, man. 30 days. I was going live every day. Held nothing back because I didn't have a product I was planning on launching. I had no offer. This wasn't a lead magnet. This was literally me thinking I'm going to train for 30 days and it's over. Within the third day, I'm getting DM'd. Pedro, I love this. What's your offer? Let me take my money now. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, you must have a back end offer. So let me just buy it now. I don't want to wait 30 days. I'm like, dude, I have no back end offer. They're like, of course you do. Nobody in their right mind would train for 30 days for free and not have an offer. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now, I do not have an offer.
So he was just flipping out that there's nothing for sale. He just couldn't comprehend.
They didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I do not have an offer. So literally, we're going through the thing, and then all of a sudden, this whole thing is like, it's like I'm seeing this thing come to life before my eyes. I'm like, what is this? And it felt like a church. It literally felt like the best church I've ever been in my life. We had real family, real community, real care. Like it was like this deep relationship forming all online. And I'm like, God, what are you doing right now? And then my heart got so engaged. All of a sudden, I found myself like loving these people, wanting to see them win. I'm giving them more time and energy than even my other business where I make my real money, and I'm over here giving this all time for free. I'm sacrificing my paid business to love on these people for free. And I'm like, God, what's going on? And then by the end of it, nobody wanted it to end. They're like, you can't leave us now. They're like, what are we going to do now? Like, we're a family now. You can't just leave. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I'm like, what are we going to do? They're like, well, just keep it going. Come up with something. So my wife and I prayed. And we're like, okay, let's launch. So we launched our 100X acceleration program, which became our 12-month of Kingdom Entrepreneurship training. And, it's stupidly too cheap. We launched it for $1,000, which is ridiculous.
For 12 months?
$1,000, 12 months. I'm doing like 3 hours a week of training. It's like 4 hours. It's ridiculous. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what, I wasn't doing it for the money. Right. I'm like, all right, we're going to start here. It's probably going to go up from here, but let's just start for now. Mm-hmm. And off we went. And so that's still our core offer, acceleration. It's now a 2K offer, which is still like
they're cheap,
ridiculously too cheap. But again, our people, Ron, let's call it what it is. Our people still sometimes struggle to even come up with that kind of money, even though like they're getting coached from a guy who's done, 7 figures now, 2 years in a row, right? I'm giving it to them from a kingdom perspective. And a lot of them, $2,000, it might as well be 2 million. Like, it's just this crazy amount of money. And so I purposely keep my packages, my prices as accessible as possible because I want impact. I want to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've paid $25K for programs that literally don't hold a candle to what we're offering at $2K. But you know what? I want impact. I want to expand the kingdom, and our people need to be equipped. And so
let's talk about that for a second, Pedro, like equipping people, because I think a lot of people feel that, you know, they love God, God loves them, and they're called by God to do something or to start a business, to move forward in something. But like you said before, a lot of times we're the brokest group of people. So where's the disconnect happening? Like, why is this existing? You know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah, it really isn't. As kingdom people, we should be our lives should really be working the best because we have access to divine revelation, Holy Spirit. So here's what I think. One, we still have a lot of poverty, scarcity mindset. There's still many people that think somehow it's holy to be poor. There's still people that somehow think that they're more spiritual being poor, that Jesus was poor, which he was not poor. Jesus was not poor. I can tell you he wasn't poor. Well, Pedro, how do you know? Well, he had a treasurer. He had a treasurer named Judas. So don't tell me you're poor if you have to have some person's whole job being to take care of the money. And don't tell me you're poor when you put a thief in charge of the money. Jesus knew Judas was stealing from him. So what poor person who lacks money puts a thief in charge of the money? Come on, man. He wasn't poor. I mean, come on, guys. Now, I'm not saying but again, how much cash did he even need? The guy can turn, water into wine. The guy can multiply bread, coins and fish's mouth. You don't need a lot of cash if you can do stuff like that. But the point is this, guys. One, there's a mindset that somehow we still think that we're self-sabotaging, that, if I somehow pursue success and financial gain, I'm going to lose my soul. I'm going to get corrupted. I'm going to become evil. Like, it can happen, but it doesn't have to happen. The second thing is Christians overthink stuff. We over-spiritualize too much. I have a YouTube video I've been promoting on Facebook talking about this. Like, we think over-spiritualize and, what if this and God if that and what if that and do I go after success in business, or do I sell it all and go to the mission field, right? Like, we have this dualistic mindset because we still have this ministry concept.
Right.
The word ministry is the most confusing word. You're like, do I go do big things in business, or do I sell out and do ministry? Guys, there is no such thing as ministry. You are in the ministry already, because ministry is short for administration. And if you are a follower of Jesus, you should be administrating the kingdom of God everywhere that you go.
Right.
So I say this, my kingdom business is my ministry. It's part of my ministry. Loving my wife is part of my ministry. Loving my kids, praying for people at church. All this is ministry, because all of it is bringing the kingdom wherever I go. So too many people have this dualistic mindset.
Right.
It's a tug of war, and they're over spiritualizing everything. And I want to please God, Pedro. I want to hear a good and faithful servant. I just want to know what he wants me to do. And whatever he tells me to do, I'll do it. Well, that sounds very good. It's very religious. Just do something. Just do something. Pick one. Stop thinking about it for the last 5 years. You've done nothing. I talk about this in the video. Guys, stop being so spiritual. If you got 2 ideas and you can't decide, pick one. Flip a coin. Flip a coin, that sounds crazy. They cast lots to pick the 12th disciple. They cast lots. They rolled dice to see who replaced Judas. So, dude, come on. They didn't sit there for 15 years trying to overthink this stuff. So Christians overthink, over-spiritualize. And we have, some of us, entitlement mindsets. Oh, I'm a son of the Most High. I am blessed and highly favored. I am the head, not the tail. And that has become an entitlement mindset where it becomes a lottery mindset that just because I'm saved, I'm somehow going to be blessed. And so we're being outworked by the world. We're being outworked because they have more clarity and they know what they want. Now they're chasing money. Now, I'm not advocating to chase money, but at least they're clear about what they want and they're working for it and they're going towards it. They're not double-minded. So many believers are still double-minded. They're unfortunately not putting in the work, I believe. Not that we should become strivers. I still believe in rest. I believe in all this stuff. Right. Hear me now. But we're not being diligent. That's why you look at a lot of Christian offers. They're not that great. I have people, oh, hire me, bro. I'm a Christian. I'm like, I don't care if you're a Christian. Your work sucks. Why would I hire you?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
For a second, Pedro, because I think that comes up. There's a lot of new Christian business owners that are sprouting up right now, and we have what I kind of see it is that exact thing that you said. Hey, we're both brothers, so like we automatically should work together. Like I'll build your website and stuff, and it's like no. So why is that? Why are we seeing that the Christian brother discount and that kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
Poverty mindset, lack of maturity, lazy, over spiritualization. Like, dude, the fact is that, yeah, maybe it was a God connection. Maybe that person is going to be someone that you can work with. But are they good at what they're doing? How long have they been doing it? Is the price reasonable? Do they have real references? Like, because if if God's called you to do something, then you're responsible for how you steward that.
Right.
So if you go hire someone who's a Christian, which, by the way, what does that even mean? What does it actually mean when someone says, I'm a Christian? You know what it means? You have no idea what it means. There are Christians who go to church on Sunday who are drug dealers, are literally deal drugs every day. Like there are Christian means they maybe prayed the prayer one time. To me, if someone says I'm a Christian, I have no idea what that means. I know Christians that are involved in witchcraft. I know Christians that have 3 wives. So that means nothing to me, first of all, right? So it's like you don't even know what that even means. But the fact is this: just because we may have our faith in common, doesn't mean we're supposed to be business partners. Doesn't mean that you're supposed to hire me or have to hire me. Doesn't mean that I have to give you a discount. It doesn't mean that we're supposed to do anything together. Right? The fact is, if you have a kingdom business God's having you steward, you better get the best qualified people to help you steward your business well. And if they're a believer, awesome. But most people don't understand that. But Pedro, what about being equally yoked? What about being equally yoked? Okay? That doesn't mean what you think it means. There's a lot of naivety around just because someone's a Christian doesn't mean you're equally yoked. I've had Christians steal from me. I've had literally Christians steal $100,000 from me in a business deal.
Wow.
They're Christians. They were saved. They got a big old thing of Jesus in the boardroom. They had no problem stealing $100,000 from their brother, this guy. So that got me very sober on not all Christians are just good to go. No. All right. Equally yoking is a different conversation. You yoke on other things, not just on your faith. You yoke on values. You yoke around values. You yoke around vision. You yoke around work ethic. You yoke around other things that you can yoke around, not just we both believe in Jesus. That's probably not a very wise thing to yoke on.
I want to ask you a question about that yoke thing. What are your thoughts on this? Like, should I, as a Christian business owner, should I only be learning from other Christians in business because of those values and where I'm coming from? Or, is there a balance to that from getting expertise from other places? I don't want to somehow go off the deep end or fall there. You know what I mean?
That's an awesome question. And that's kind of why the 100X Academy, I think, exists. Okay. So the problem with learning from secular and worldly mentors is there is leaven. There is leaven in their teaching of the world. There may be 1%, there may be 40%, but like the leaven of the world system is in there. Now, they may have great teaching, but here's the problem. Unless you are very, very discerning or very, very knowledgeable on the kingdom, you will not know what is leaven of the world. You will not know what to take in and what to spit out. You will ingest all of it. And then all of a sudden, you're starting to go down a path. You don't even realize it. But now your language is changing. Your values start changing. You're saying and doing things that maybe on one hand you thought may have been a little bit questionable, but now you have no problem doing it. So you have to be very careful. And that was my journey. I spent a decade at the feet of the gurus, and it shipwrecked my life. The biggest mistakes of my life got made after sitting at the feet of worldly gurus.
Wow.
So I had to go, wait a minute, there's some truth here, but there's more baggage than truth. So I went to find the real truth. I spent 4 years in the Gospels. I spent 4 years in the Gospels trying to rebuild my life. My first book came out of that, The Finished Life. And now I can still learn from secular people because I feel like I have so much word in me, so much of a kingdom revelation and wisdom enough to discern, okay, I can't do that. Yes, that's good. No, but most people do not have that level of wisdom or maturity. And so I caution people, be very careful about who you learn from. And so what I believe 100X is my goal. This is a safe place to, you don't have to filter here. Like I'm giving you guys kingdom revelation on marketing, funnels, Facebook, ads, entrepreneurship, how to build a legit business and prosper, make tons of money, but do it do it from a healthy, integrous kingdom standpoint. And you don't have to worry about like what I'm telling you because I've already filtered it through the kingdom revelation for myself first. And that's how I got that. And so that's one of the values of coming to 100X. Now, I'm not saying that I have to be your end all be all, your only one coach and mentor. I'm just saying that that's partly why we exist. So if you're going to go learn from other secular people, you have to be really, really, really sharp. You have to stay very alert because you don't want this leaven, these little foxes come in and they spoil the vine. And so, yeah, man, that's a great question. I think a lot of people do not. I see a lot of Christians being led as sheep to slaughter because they're so hungry for the result. They're so desperate for the breakthrough financially that they will go follow anyone that they think can give it to them. And off they go.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you find that like another thing I see big with people we talk to at Christ-centered coaching is this excuse of timing, or like hey, the timing just isn't right, and we use that as a delay, or like people are sometimes genuinely seeking God, and why would He say no? Like don't go and subdue the earth. You know what I mean?
Okay, great question. So here's my thought on this. So I love what Bill Johnson, this is Bill Johnson teaching from Bethel. He says, our Father is a good Father, okay? So you have to understand that our Father is good, right? God is good. He's a good dad. So he says this, if you feel like something is bubbling in you and you feel like it's the Lord, then the light is green until it's red. The light is green until it's red. So you should go. You should feel that liberty to go unless you get a stop sign or a red light. Most people don't have a red light. They're waiting for a green light. Well, the green light is already there. It's implied. It's there. Like God put that desire in your heart to begin with. The word desire means from the Father. So God put that thing in there. The light's already green. The truth is probably you're afraid. The truth probably is you're afraid to fail. The truth is probably a lot of other things, and we spiritualize our fear with wisdom and religion. I'm seeking the Lord. I'm waiting. And there is a time for that. Yes, you shouldn't just rush out and do things just, foolishly and half-heartedly. And I've done those things. There is a time to pray about something. There's time to fast about something. But I don't need to pray about expanding the kingdom. That's the mandate. That's what he told us to do. Like, I don't need to pray about being a great husband or being a good dad. Like, I don't have to pray about this stuff. I don't need to pray about going to the gym and eating healthy. That's stuff this stuff is just, that's a stewardship, right? So I feel that just as Christians, we have to just stop believing our own BS. Yeah. Let's just be honest. If we're afraid, just say, man, I'm afraid to launch, dude. And I've been hiding behind excuses of, now there is timing. Timing does matter. Don't get me wrong, there is a timing. And I see a lot of people in our space actually stepping out as coaches and consultants and experts. I love Russell. I've learned a lot from Russell. The fact that everyone's an expert. No, I don't agree. Not everyone's an expert yet. No, not true. Yeah. Some of us do not need to be experts yet. Some of us need to be good students.
Yeah, well said.
Do something else. Sell a product. Sell a service. Do affiliate marketing. Do something else. Don't try and be an expert too soon. I disagree with that one thing, from one of my mentors is that, hey, God, God's a process. There's a process with God. He takes us through a process, and the Bible says, don't be slow to be a teacher. Because the minute you say you're a teacher.
Harder if you're a teacher.
Dude, it's a different responsibility. It's a different level of warfare, and it's a different level of stewardship. And so I've seen both sides, okay? And I'm going to always give both sides. I'm always going to give both sides.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I love that. So, Pedro, I have one more question for you, kind of close out our interview, and then I want you to share afterwards, how can people plug in with you and be part of 100X. But what do you feel is the Christian's role in business right now? If there's something that you could leave Christian entrepreneurs with, what do you want them to know?
I would say the number one role that we have as believers, as followers of Jesus, is we have a mandate to expand the kingdom. We have a mandate to bring the kingdom, the invisible kingdom realm of heaven. Our whole purpose for creation, the whole reason why God actually made us in his image, was to extend the heavenly invisible kingdom realm to earth through us. So the number one mandate of a Christian entrepreneur is, how are you extending and expanding the kingdom through your business? And doesn't mean turning your business into a church or into a prayer line. It doesn't mean putting a little fish on your website. You don't have to be churchy or religious. In fact, I hope you're not churchy or religious. You don't even have to be overtly Christian. My other business is not overtly Christian, but it's 100% kingdom. The kingdom is expanding because I'm bringing truth. I'm bringing transparency. We're serving people. We love people well. And people come under the grace of the kingdom. We have people getting healed, set free of things. I'm not even praying for them. I'm not even praying for these people. And all of a sudden, when the kingdom shows up, problems start being solved. So your obligation as a Christian entrepreneur is to understand, how is the kingdom of God expanding in and through me and the work that I do? And just to be very real, I think most faith-based Christian entrepreneurs do not have that revelation. I think what most people do is they have their business that they pretty much run like the rest of the world does their business. Okay. And then they try and add God in kind of as an afterthought. Newsflash, God does not want to be an afterthought. He's like, that's so nice. And that's how cute, Pedro, to add me to your business. Yeah, no thanks. I don't want to be added to your business. I am your essence. You can't breathe without me. This business needs to start with me. I am the foundation of this whole thing, not the sprinkle on top. And I think that just many of us are lacking that hardcore reality that, to me, you want to be a kingdom entrepreneur, that's a high calling. It's a high calling. To me, it's easier just go into vocational ministry.
Right.
Like, go there. Go to the mission field. I understand it's hard, it's cold, you go hungry. Let me tell you what's harder, I think. Being in the world, functioning as a business person, as an entrepreneur, and bringing kingdom stuff here where there's not a lot of role models and mentors. We're forerunning some stuff right now, Ron. You've been forerunning. I'm forerunning, and there's others that went before us too. But this is forerunning, man. Like, we are bringing light to dark places. We are exposing lies with truth. Like, this to me, this is a high calling. It's a high calling. This is no less of a calling than being a pastor on Sunday or a preacher and evangelist. This is a high calling of kingdom entrepreneurship. And if you're going to do it, then, man, come correct. Do it. Like, step up, rise. There's other ways to make money, you know. It's other ways to make money without having to call yourself a kingdom entrepreneur. But if you want that label, you want that title, come get it. But it's a high calling.
Man, I love it, Pedro. You're getting me fired up. I feel like I just watched some motivational speaking here. This is great, man. So Pedro, how can people get plugged in with you and 100X Academy?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. One is we have two big events a year that we do. We have one coming up March 28th through 30th. That's going to be in Dallas, Texas. If this thing airs in time and you want to jump on that, that's at www.100xconference.com if you want to come to a live event and just dive in and see us. Or we have this thing called the 10-day Kingdom Funnel Challenge, where I walk you through how to launch a kingdom business or accelerate your kingdom business in 10 days or less by using what's called sales funnels, which, by the way, is the only way to actually really launch a business online. And so that's a 10-day program. That's for a whopping $19. For a whopping $19, I'm going to give you like 12 to 15 hours of live best-in-class training, tell you how I got my 2 Comma Club board, how I went. My very first funnel I ever launched did over $1 million in a year because it was a kingdom funnel. Because it was a kingdom funnel. Yeah. The Lord spoke to me, told me what to do. I did it. And God had to actually trick me with the 100X. Here's the crazy part. God had to trick me with the 100X because he wanted to launch this movement his way. And he actually had to trick me into launching the movement, not knowing I was launching a business, so I wouldn't use the wisdom of man to launch it. So what's crazy about this stuff is, like, on one hand, I pursue wisdom and knowledge and mentoring. I'm growing in my skill and my craft. On the other hand, God's going to be God, and he's going to do things sometimes that surprise us. And so, yes, I know how to lead people into the process of taking their idea, their message, their heart, their serve, and create an amazing offer and launch with the funnel. And that's a 10-day Kingdom Funnel Challenge. That's at www.kingdomfunnels.com. They can check us out there. And then I'm going to be launching a book here very soon, but I'll have you bring me back on for that.
Another one for the book. Guys, I'll put a link below this video on the blog or where you're seeing this so you can get into the Kingdom Funnels Challenge. I went in it myself. I saw some amazing content, and I'm building funnels every week. I use the same tools as Pedro, and it is some good stuff, guys. Pedro, thank you so much for being here and, you know, sharing some truth with us, sharing some wisdom, and just your story, man. I really appreciate your time, and I'm fired up about what you and the Lord are doing and bringing to the marketplace.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here, Ron. I want to acknowledge you, man. Like, you've been forerunning, you've been out here doing this, you've been sharing this message too for a long time. So I want to honor you as a forerunner who's been out here talking about this. And hey, man, I'll come on as often as you want me. I love talking about this. I love talking about it to our people about this stuff. So it was an honor to be on the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pedro. Guys, you know how to get plugged in with him. Check the links below, and we'll see you next time. God bless.